Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be continuing to take a look at a scenario where civilization starts over. We are now on episode 97 of the series, and in the last episode, we saw a bit of rebellion thingy, country getting independence, I guess. A collapse of the Yucatan country, and Florida buying some land over here. Some land was given over here. And, um, Eastern Australia united with South Asia. And this country right here collapsed. So, let's get right into the scenario where, another country, let's get over here. We're gonna take a look at Florida. Are they gonna be buying some territory over here? Just to make this area look a bit more natural over here. But they'll also buy some land from Europe, from North America Unitaria. So they will be buying some more land. And this will also help out with their economy and just improving relations for a time being until something will happen. Next episode, which I'll record after this, and then after that one we'll get episode 99, because I need to think about what I'm gonna do for the finale, which is episode 100. So yeah, anyway, we are gonna see some more stuff happen with South Asia in this episode as well, because South Asia is going to continue to grow. We're also going to see more with some Unitarian stuff. So, just keep that in mind. Now, Florida was under a union before, which was the Gulf Union, but that became a fascist nation, and well, you know how that turned out. But now, let's take a look with South Asia again, where another communist nation is joining up with them. And that is actually gonna be our good friend, New Zealand. Or just Zealand for short. Or we'll call it Zealandia. After the, well, hidden, like, very, which Zealandia is a continent, so and in the second season of this series, which I'll probably do after like some more other scenarios, like maybe an alternate future of the world scenario, like Adis Pro, who is continuing his series, his one on June 20th. The third season of that scenario will come out, which is episode 1 for him. So I'm planning on doing something like that. So Zealandia is joining in on the South Asian Union, which they're not really South Asian, they're more Oceanian. But South Asia is just now a big country, the largest country in this world, which is probably because of how many countries are within this union. So we can go ahead and get rid of this stuff here. So goodbye. Yeah. So the only area that remains is Tasmania, which I doubt the people there would unite with them. Speaking of uniting, Morocco and whatever this country was. I think I called it something like Burkina Faso. I might have to watch some older videos, but they will decide to unite, which I need to like go over here and select each of their colors and go over to where there's white. So yeah. I'm just thinking about this right now. So I guess this will be our color. So, I might make this a little more darker and more, blue. Maybe like this. This might look good. Kind of is purplish. So I guess this really works out. So, a Unitarian nation and a communist nation. Interesting. Interesting union. I don't know what's going to happen with this union, but they're probably going to stay in Unitarian economical and military alliance, because, well, obviously. But episode 100 will be very eventful because we might see some stuff happen. Which I've explained a lot of lore about some stuff. About this series. A lot of lore. Which wasn't really revealed until later episodes. Because I kind of came up with the lore at a random point, but it kind of made sense. So basically, I said that a war broke out between. This was taking place during the joint Israeli and American strikes on Iran, which started the whole war, and eventually it got out of hand, and that resulted in the world being reset. But not before some humans escaped and also left behind technology that couldn't be destroyed simply. There's some humans, old humans, predating back to our time in this world, are still finding their way back. They're on their way back. Right now, they're roughly around like Saturn. They're basically near Saturn right now. Their ship is slowly making its way back to Earth. But they will see that the Earth looks completely different from how they once saw it. Which they knew that was going to happen because, well, they left behind this technology to help with this. But there will be some people, some lead officials in that group of people who might not want to share this world, share the Earth, which may result in like a divide in their system. Which will cause a whole mess. Kind of like how the Ultranites were with Aegis Pro and his series. So, yeah, I might do something like that. Just in a different way. Because some of the the original humans might stand with the newer humans, which is the humans we see in this time. And some might go against what some want. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the ending will turn out. Which I don't know how it's going to end, but I assume it's going to be very interesting. I have a bit of it planned out, but not too much planned. Anyway, going back here, this is slowly happening over time. This union was in effect kind of like South Asia, but this one is really just mostly, this was not really that old of a deal, but this was fairly a new, like, idea for these guys. So you can see why this union is happening now, and not earlier in the series. But now that this union is forming, relations between the two were getting better over time, which helps this union form. Which is now why this union is forming, because after their relations were better, they came up with a plan, and they decided to make a plan to unite their countries into one African nation, which is what we're seeing now. The reason why I'm just slowly doing this right now is because I'm making the capital more central, like in the center of this new nation, which is where the border was. So that's why I'm just slowly doing this, so I can make it like the border thick enough so I can actually put the new capital in first. And then we'll just get rid of the old nations, which they technically still exist, but they're just unionized. Just kind of looking similar to South Asia's color, a bit. But not too similar. It is a purplish hue, similar to South Asia, but it's not the same. I don't know what I'm going to call this nation. Maybe West Africa, the Union of Western Africa. So there we go. Now we can go over to our other color, and and the capital is going to be right here. So that's what we're going to see now. And now that I made this thick enough, I can actually just finish this up. And there we go. That is a notably large nation. Which I'm going to be quick to do this, so. So, they're still in the Unitarian World Peace Alliance, which is what it's called. So, it has a lot of members. And another nation is going to be quick to join it. Which is actually going to be our good friend Purple Antarctica, or whatever you want to call it. So they'll join the Unitarian World Peace Alliance, which they would really benefit from. They would greatly benefit from this alliance, because this one's merely just a defensive alliance, and it is an attack one, attack all alliance. We saw that with world wars involving them, because a nation attacked them, and they began their counteroffensive. Like, the fascist leaders of Florida really do not like Unitarians. That's why it was called the Anti-Unitarian Commune. But we do see some cool stuff happening. We do see more unions taking place. Like, 2 communist nations are now being unionized, or just one country deciding to unite with the other, just because they're suffering. So, which we see this Russian country getting annexed by another one. Which this is mostly just like Central Russia or something. Okay, that's way too big. Which, this union is not really that controversial, because these two were enemies at first, but then, yeah. And now we are gonna see another union with, this time it's gonna be a union, a nation joining the Unitarian. So, Libya will join in on Europe Unitaria, which means Europe Unitaria is very large at this point. It's getting to the point where it might become the newest, largest country, which will, make them surpass South Asia in terms of land area. But because South Asia has so much land now, they probably can't surpass even this, Like, they have a lot of territory. Just sheer, like, amounts of territory just from making new land from the ocean. Which was one of the technologies made by the early humans. Because they knew they wouldn't be able to survive. Because they knew they would probably get way too populated, the world get way populated. So they decided to, well, make sure that any new humans, the countries that would be created would be able to, create new land so they can actually have more living space. Or just more habitable land in general. So I'll see you in a bit. So this is interesting. We are going to see another nation unite with a Unitarian country, which is actually going to be Sudan uniting with Africa Unitarian, which I'm just going to call it that now. Which this is North American Unitarian, South American Unitarian, Europe Unitarian, Africa Unitarian, and maybe this one is Asia Unitarian. But resulting... Okay, that's a little too large for right now. But nations are really becoming more united. Pretty soon, maybe the world will begin to unite into one nation. Or the world might be destroyed and probably reset again. Which, most likely this would have this second outcome would probably be the most probable one. God, a straight line border, I forgot. Well, that looks interesting. And, we are now going to see another nation join in on the South Asian bloc, and, well, that's interesting. Tasmania is joining the South Asian bloc, even though relations between them and South Asia are very hostile, or just not really on good terms. But that's interesting. And that's going to do it for today's scenario. I hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you guys in episode 98, which will come out very soon. Goodbye.